Hey students, in our last lecture of digital marketing, we have discussed about uh, digital marketing or advertising using banners. We have also discussed about uh, pay-per-click in search engine marketing. In this lecture, we will discuss direct mail, means digital marketing using direct mail, or it is also called email marketing. So it is very important in direct mail marketing or email marketing that we procure the list of the uh, individuals so to whom we can send mail so that they would be our potential customers. So it is again the thing that is same as lead generation. We have discussed that lead is a list of those individuals, details of those individuals who might be interested in buying a marketer's product. So uh, in the same way, in digital marketing, direct mail marketing, it is important to procure a list of those individuals who might be interested in buying a marketer's products. So then after procuring that list, the concept of permission marketing is very popular and very important nowadays. Some marketers don't follow this concept, but if it is followed, it is beneficial. I'll discuss the benefits after we discuss the concept of permission marketing. So what is permission marketing? Permission marketing means the marketer takes permission of the individuals or users or potential customers before sending any promotional mails or messages to the potential customer. So in this case, a marketer procures list, and after procuring the list, the marketer does not start bombarding the potential customer with a lot of mails or messages. In fact, marketer sends one first mail or SMS to these potential customers that we want to share some promotional messages with you on this email ID or on this phone number. So if you are interested, that's fine. If you are not interested, please click on this link to unsubscribe. So it is very important for marketers to go for this practice, using this practice, because this practice is helpful in increasing the response rate, because those individuals who are interested, they will keep on receiving, and those who are not interested would unsubscribe, so response rate will increase. This is also reduce cost, and it would also reduces any type of uh, cases or any type of social issues against the marketer. Sometimes some individuals who get annoyed with these type of SMSs or mails, they may file some cases against the marketers, and this also without taking permission. When a marketer keeps sending the messages, promotional messages, that uh, tarnishes marketer's image as well. So this is harmful if a marketer does not take permission before sending promotional mail. And if marketer does so, that is helpful in different ways. Marketers also keep on sending, if even if one potential customer has subscribed for those promotional mails or messages, marketers keep on sending mails, and in those mails again there is one link. By clicking on that link, a user can anytime unsubscribe from those mails or messages. So it's not like that if a marketer has taken the permission from a user, then that permission is for long time. Marketer gives user an option to unsubscribe anytime. So this is a good practice. And then in direct mail, body copy is important. Body copy is the content of that mail which is being sent as a promotional mail. So that body copy content is also very important. The marketer should choose the body copy in such a way so that the user gets the gist of the message in first two sentences. So user should not be required to read the whole mail for getting the idea that what this mail is all about. The users should get the idea of the mail in first two sentences, and if the user would be interested, the user would keep on reading the mail, otherwise it would be deleted. So it is very important that the body copy should be precise and should have the main idea in first two sentences. Otherwise, the user does not have much time to read the whole mail. And it is also important that the subject line is also have some content. If we are sending emails, then subject line is very important, so it should have a content that encourages opening of that mail. We know that we receive too many mails every day. Out of those mails there are many promotional mails, and we don't even open those mails and we delete those mails. So the content of subject line is very important, and that should encourage users to at least open and read first two sentences of our mail. There are three types of pricing strategies or pricing ways in direct mail. There are agencies that perform this function of email marketing for marketers. So these agencies have some pricing system. So there are three types of pricing system on the basis of which the agencies charge marketers for sending promotional mails for marketers or on the behalf of marketers. So there are three options. One is CPC, cost per click, CPO, cost per open, and CPM, cost per mail. So CPC is simply marketers is charged. So a digital marketing agency charges if only the user clicks on the link in the mail and moves to the marketer's website. So it is mentioned charged only for the traffic that is derived to client's website through email marketing. So digital marketing agency sends mails to the potential customers. Those potential customer open the mail, and then there is a link in that mail that redirects that user to the marketer's website. If this happens, only then it is charged, otherwise it is not charged. So obviously the cost is higher because the digital marketing agency is getting money when the user receives mail, opens mail, and clicks on the link given in the mail and moves to the marketer's website. Second option that digital marketing agencies give is cost per open. The digital marketing agencies say that we'll charge if only the mail will be opened, not before that. But in this case, clicking on link is not required. If only the user opens the mail, the digital marketing agency charges from the marketer. So charge only for the mails that have been opened by the users. And third option is cost per mail. In this case, the digital marketing agency procures a list and sends mails to the users, and the digital marketing agency charges on the basis of number of mails sent to different users. It's not anything related to whether those mails are opened or not, whether the user clicks on the link and moves to the marketer's website or not. It is not a condition. The only condition is the number of mails that have been sent, and the digital marketing agency charges on the basis of the number of mails. It is mentioned charge for all the mails that have been sent to operational mail IDs. This is important, that the mails should be sent to operational mail IDs. Those mail IDs should not be obsolete or fake, or if a mail has been bounced or reversed or reverted, that is not counted. It would only those mails would be counted that are sent to the operational mail IDs. So this is obviously this is very low price. So we can understand that CPM is the least priced, then CPO is a little higher, and CPS is the priced higher, because there is very low probability that a customer would open, and there is even lower probability that the customer would open a mail and would click on the link given in the mail. So as soon as we move upward from CPM to CPC, the cost or price keeps on getting higher. So in the case of CPM, charges start from as low as 4 paise per mail, and sometimes digital marketing agencies also commit a minimum of 8 to 10% of open rate. So they charge just up to 4 paise, as low as 4 paise per mail, and sometimes the digital marketing agency also commit that out of those mails at least 8 to 10% will be opened. So this depends on the subject line. If the subject line is relevant, or the sender's mail ID or description is relevant, the mail is opened. So it is very important that subject line should be relevant, and from whom we are receiving the mail, that should also be relevant. But as a user, we need to be very careful that sometimes we receive some mails which are promotional mail, or sometimes those are even mails from hackers in which there are some content and there are some links, and if we click on those links, our systems get hacked. So we need to be very careful about this, that if a mail has a subject line that seems to be a mail from bank, and it is also mentioned from sender, it is mentioned that it is State Bank of India. So a user should be very careful in seeing that uh, whether that mail has all actually been sent from State Bank of India, or it is just the name State Bank of India in sender's uh, detail, and actually that is something else. So if a user keeps the cursor on sender's name, then it shows the email ID of the sender, or even if you open the mail, you can see the email ID of the sender. So if email ID of the sender is sbi@gmail.com, or sbi@yahoo.com, sbi@yahoo.co.in, so it means it is not actually a mail from SBI. uh, the user should be very careful that the whatever has been mentioned after at the rate, that is important. If after at the rate it is sbi.com or sbi.co.in, then it is possible that the mail has been sent by SBI. Otherwise, if after at the rate it is Gmail, it is Yahoo, it is Rediff, then the chances are less that it is a authenticated mail from an authenticated marketer. So we need to, as a user, we need to be very careful about this. So next topic that we would discuss is blogging or vlogging. We know that blogging is a personal online diary, journal, or news source compiled by one person or several people. So whatever I think about something, whatever I know about something, whatever I feel about something, I have option to write anything about anything on the web, and that is simply blog. Google has blogger.com, a website, so anyone can sign in that website using Google Mail ID or Google account. So anyone can go on that website blogger.com, and anyone can write anything about anything. So those are blogs. RSS, sometimes you see blogs, then there is a word mentioned RSS. It is an XML based content distribution format commonly used for accessing blog information. So RSS has the blog information. So reviews on all sites, the those who actually blogging or vlogging are also used for marketing purpose, digital marketing or online marketing. And again, in blogging and vlogging also, the keywords are important. As we have discussed that keywords are searched by the user when you search anything in search engine. So even if those keywords are searched in blogs as well, those blogs would also be listed in the search results. So if I am writing something about online marketing or online shopping that we had discussed earlier as well, an example. So if I am writing something about online shopping, So that keyword online shopping should be mentioned many times in my blog. Other important keyword online shopping in India should also be mentioned. Other important keyword online shopping, best online shopping websites in India should also be mentioned many times in my blog. This would help search engine to understand that this blog has something, some information related to online shopping, and when online shopping would be searched in that search engine, my blog's information will also be listed in the search results. So this is blog. Vlogging is simply video blogging. Nowadays, individuals or users are moving from reading to watching things, from reading about a news, from reading about anything, from getting information by reading. The users prefer seeing or listening. So users are preferring videos rather than written content. So the bloggers are also moving from written content to video content. So bloggers are actually making video content, and those video content is also available on websites like YouTube and so making video content is called vlogging. Making video content and publishing it on websites is called vlogging. Again, in just like blogging, in vlogging anyone can say or write anything about anything, anyone can show anything. So there are blogs or vlogs which are dedicated for some specific subjects like tourism, like studies, like cooking, like any interest area, and playing guitar, any type of games. So blogging and vlogging are available for all types of interest. So this is all for this lecture. We'll discuss more about digital marketing in our next lecture. Thank you.